All right. I told the good people here at the credit union, once a criminal, always a criminal. So I'm taping myself as a confession so I can turn myself in after I've done what needs to be done. But we're going to try to get 25 silver dollar coins and try to avoid the gold ones. I don't know how many rolls it's going to take to get this job done. But the good news is I got nothing but time on my hands and a little bit of money in my pocket, burning a hole. It's time for those lessons in probability. 2 rolls gave me 10, so I'm hoping that 4 rolls give me 20. And then justice can be served with cheeseburgers. All right, it took a bit of doing, but we got 30 pieces of silver. We got 1 left over for me as a memento. Let me see if there's a 72 in this mix. I don't know if there is. I don't know if there's even a 72 Susan B. Anthony or not. See, I'm not a coin collector. The thing is, I know that people that might see these coins are going to be interested in seeing if any of them are worth significantly more than $1. Now, I've given out so many $2 bills in my life. There's no doubt I've given out one that's worth a lot more than $2. But money is good. Memories are better. Not a big fan of guns, but as I said before, cell phones are the weapons people use these days. So in my mind's eye, this sign means you should not be able to take your cell phone into a bank either. But people haven't caught on that cell phones are weapons yet. People are walking around oblivious to the fact that you can use a firearm to shoot someone and hurt their body. People used to fight each other with fisticuffs, punch each other in the nose and hurt their body. Nowadays, people use their cell phones and the internet to kill the soul of people. So make no doubt about it, cell phones are a weapon. Dude. I just wanted you to know I was not ignoring your text. Period. I plan on this being the last text message I send to this number. Like I said earlier, you just name the time and the day, and I will meet you at Hardee's in Neenah, in Oshkosh. Oshkosh, or wherever. Period. Like I said before as well, you can bring soup with you. You can bring weasel with you. Period. It'll be good to have our last conversation. Period. Money or memories, which is more important? I'll tell you what, I bet you there's a young lady that's in a hospital right now that knows the truth. Memories are absolutely a million times, billion, infinitely more important than money. Speaking of memories, it's been a while since I've dealt with silver coins. I ask people, I'm kind of wearing a silver shirt today. I ask people all the time what their favorite color is, and no one ever guesses my favorite color on the first try. It's never been done. I will tell you a secret that when I was about this tall, my favorite color was silver. My grandpa had swords on his wall that were shiny and silver. My grandpa had just dozens and dozens upon dozens of guns that were shiny and silver. He polished them with pride. Silver was my favorite color as a little kid, and I remember distinctly taking my Matchbox cars, and I might do this. I'll ask my son later if I can borrow a Matchbox cars or a Hot Wheel car of his. I took the Hot Wheels cars and I scraped them on the pavement at the farm in Mackville, Wisconsin, until all the paint came off and the silver metal was brilliantly glowing beneath. So I had a whole stable of silver cars, and you had to work very hard and get all the angles to try to get all the paint off them to make them completely silver. And I remember spending hours and hours and hours basically shining up my my Matchbox cars by scraping all the paint off them. So yeah, I really had an affinity with silver as a young child, and doing so brings us to one of the saddest chapters in Mrgrrr's life story. And I don't think I've shared this in a long time, but this pair of shoes was given to me by a gentleman named Todd back in my college days, probably in the year near 1994 is my best guess. I haven't put these shoes on in a while, but every once in a while I do. Todd had an accident. He was big into sports, and he had his tooth broken in half. And Todd, well, he was a good-looking guy, and having that shattered tooth in his face made him really, really self-conscious, and it really, really took a lot out of his self-esteem. So back in the day, on my plan to financial independence and generational wealth, I decided, you know what, I can spare some money for my buddy Todd so that he can fix his tooth. But I believe this is the last shoe I wore that has a 50-cent piece in the left shoe. When I was about 3 years old, I stole the 50-cent piece off of my grandfather's nightstand, and I pretended to find it in the snow. And my grandparents and mother were onto my schemes, but they let it go. They let it go like, oh, that's wonderful. You found money in the snow, to trying to teach me a lesson. And that 50-cent piece was such a burden of guilt for me, I ended up giving it to the poor box at St. Mark's Church. But later on in life, after my grandfather died, I reflected a lot on that situation of me stealing from my grandfather, one of the people that I love the most in this world. And I decided I was going to have a 50-cent piece in my shoe for the rest of my life. Don't do that. Like, my left Achilles tendon is so messed up from having that coin in my shoe for, 20 some odd years, probably closer to 30. Yeah. Sometimes you got to let things go. So I don't put the coin in my shoe anymore, but I have it in this shoe. And every once in a while, I put it on just to remember, hey, sometimes the sins of the past haunt you. And sometimes, sadly, you repeat the sins of the past. It's just our nature. Cheater.